Hello everyone, today I think I'm making my most ambitious resin project ever. With the help of one mind-blowing technique, we are going to make some intricate patterned ammonites that you can try for yourself at home. Stick around until the end to find out how it turns out. When I was making my last piece, that was the whale, and I used the resin, you can see it here, I realized that I haven't used resin for a long time. I also got a request from one of my lovely patrons to show how I use resin. So this is the episode. I'm going to make something very different, in a way connected to my old dreams. I'll explain in a minute. I know it sounds grand, but when I was growing up, I always dreamt of becoming an archaeologist. I was fascinated by finding things in ancient history. I'm inspiring today to make some fossils. I know it's not necessarily the field of an archaeologist, it's absolutely more a paleontologist.
I'm a paleontologist.
Really? That is so cool.
Oh yeah, don't get too worked up over it. I mean, it sounds like he's a doctor, but he's not.
Let's try and make some ammonites. Something like this, out of a pouring mix. I tried it a long time ago and I remember I loved the effect, but I've never showed you how to make it. Analyzing the colors, we can see that I will need some gray. I've already got some mixes, so we've got light gray, darker gray, I've got some gold, off-white, titanium white. I also have masked black because I was making those mixes with white and black. Now, if you would like to know what's in the mix, I'll show you the consistency. At the moment it's like this, but I think I have to thin it down a little bit. So here we've got 1 part of paint, 2 parts of Floetrol and 2 parts of my pouring mix, which is archival PVA and water. You need to thin it down a little bit, just like that. Perfect. It's very important that all your mixes are exactly the same. I'm talking about consistency. I'm putting this on my table because I want to be able to move it later on. Now we will be doing it on a silicone mat. Okay, so the midsection of my ammonite. Don't try to make it perfect. It's not that necessary. I'm going to make some circles around. Don't think we have any gold yet. Gold always, for some reason, seems to be thicker. And I just remembered today that I wanted to make it. I was very excited because I haven't done it for quite some time. Yeah, for years. I can also squeeze my container under this. That's much more efficient. I do have those bottles, by the way, if you were wondering. Yes, I do. I just don't like them. Okay, I'm thinking, is it the right size? Well, there is no right size, not right or wrong. Okay, the fun will begin in a minute once I finish this. I'll show you what happens. I'm going to quickly add a couple more. I'm going to do this one a bit different to see which one will be better. Different order of my colors, that's it. So what do you think will happen next? Next, we are going to swipe. Yes, let's make strips of paper towel. Just a regular paper towel, nothing special about the paper. I'm going to start with, well, I'll start with the bigger one. Just spray a bit of water here. Not soaked, just moist, like this. Swiping again because they're not blended enough. Okay, that's one. Actually, maybe I'll swipe again the mid part. Oh, much better, much better. Okay, I'll show you what happens now. This is my silicone. It's actually dimethicone. It's a coconut hair serum. But you can use any other silicone that will work. Okay. I hope in a couple of minutes you will see the magic happening, and it's going to look like an ammonite. Isn't that fantastic? I so like this effect. And of course it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, because as we know, the fossils, you know, they can be partially damaged. I need to be a bit faster because they are growing like crazy. But of course I don't have to use the whole thing. I will be cutting out some sections anyway. The fact that it's so different, it actually adds to its beauty. Okay, I probably think I should leave this one alone now, unless I want to go on the white. White always reacts beautifully. I'm happy with that. I think I'm going to leave it. I'm going to make this one a little bit in a different way. I am going to put some of this color here, maybe even a little bit of white. And I'll be swiping just with that. So let me dip it in. And very gently, let's swipe that. It's quite a lot of paint, so. And again, I'll probably swipe the midsection. Okay. And back to our fun. Okay, now I'll try to be faster. I'll try. You know, this technique was first years ago invented by a lady called Chameleon Jones, I believe, on Instagram. But personally, I haven't seen anybody doing ammonites, but I'm sure somebody, as with everything, somebody must have tried that as well. A little bit of silicone goes a long way here, as you can see. I think they're lovely. And the last one. This is my spirit level, checking if my table is even. Perfect. Why? Because I'm going to pour my resin today and I want everything level. This is very important. You probably will be surprised, but this is what I'm going to be pouring on. Lazy Susan. I am going to cover all the edges at the bottom so the resin doesn't get into here. And of course I'm going to cut those sticking out bits, no worries. I think it's well protected. Now I'm going to clean the surface with isopropyl alcohol, just to make sure there's no oil or anything like that. This is the resin I'm going to use, Ultracast by ELPHNT. This is high temperature clear artwork resin. I'm going to use it because this is going to end up in the kitchen. So I definitely want it to be heat resistant. 2:1. And the good news is I can mix ratio by weight. That's going to be easier. So 2 parts of resin to 1 part of hardener. I am going to be using gloves, of course. Oh, Christmas card. Most of the resin companies, they will have a calculator. I look how big my object is and I just eyeball it. But of course, to be safe, you can calculate, measure your items. All right, so I will be going for probably 120 mil. So if I am going to use 2 parts of resin, let's say I will use 60 milliliters of resin, 30 milliliters of hardener. So if I want to use, I'd just use 70 and 35 of hardener. Oh, that was quick. Maybe it's not enough. I'm going to do 100 of this and 50 of hardener. Yay. Now looking at it, I think I probably need a bit more. 120 and then 60. I'm going to use 140 and then 70 milliliters of hardener. Is that going to be enough? How did I even imagine that I can mix it? So I have to put it here now. Can't believe it. It's because I was adding more and more. I will be mixing it for 3-4 minutes, scraping the edges. When you work with resin, you should be using respirator. I will be using something called Cell Base. I've got 2 colors, grey and black. I think that's probably enough. the rest, I am going to be using white and gold. I've got Resin, and Resin gold is actually powder. I really like it. That's probably enough. Now the resin goes into each cup. Which one will be the most? Probably quite a lot of grey. Now I'm mixing each pigment. They are so strong. A kind of small amount gives a very nice opaque black. I think I am ready. So I'm going to apply the cell base first. They are going to be blended anyway. That's all right. Okay, now the fun begins.
This is where the fun begins.
Because I'm going to be spreading color over the base. So. Those cells here being activated. I'm going to add a bit more gold here. That's really pretty. Okay, so we've got this darker section, that's fine. I'm going to use black here. Could also use a little bit, just like this. Let me add gold here, and I will blow over black towards the edge. I think that's going to be nice. Well, I think it's looking rather interesting. I am happy with it. I'm just going to touch the edges. I definitely had enough resin. I'm going to use palette knife to touch up those sections. Now the best part, peeling things off. This is so easy. Look, it just comes off like that. No effort whatsoever. See those stripes? It's interesting. And you decide which sections do we want to preserve. How am I going to cut my ammonite? So this is going to be the curved section. And I'm going to do this all around the cells. Just remember the ammonites. Some of them are perfectly preserved, some are not. I'm cutting them like this. Show you in a minute what it will look like. So that's how I cut it out. Now I'm going to peel the other one. I also have a couple more that I've already cut out, and then we can position them on the background. Now we've got this beautiful Lazy Susan. Look at the edges, how nicely they look. Now, when I look at this, I'm thinking which areas are my least favorite. And of course, I'm not going to cover, for example, this, because I love this. I've got some favorites and some least favorites. By the way, look at this. Because I know from above it doesn't look as amazing as it is in real life. Look at that. I want to preserve most of it, however, I do want one somewhere here. Something like that. The biggest one is going to go here because I'm not fond of this section. Where it's going to go, I might kind of fiddle which way. Do I want it like this? No, I prefer. I'm also thinking of the color, so where will the gold go? I think I like it like this. Yep. Okay, that leaves me with the baby one. I cut a really small one of the leftover bits, and somewhere here, definitely. And of course, I'm going to stick them down, and then I'm going to pour another layer. And now a little surprise for you. Now I've got one that's a bit darker with some lighter ammonites. That's kind of roughly the end of the project. I hope you enjoyed it, and that just gave us a different idea, especially for those who wanted some resin and wanted, but this is resin plus, I would say, because we were pouring, we were planning something, following it up with the resin background, and that's what we have now. Well, there we are. If you enjoyed, I would really appreciate if you left a comment below the video. I will be adding another layer of clear resin on top of this one to finish the piece off soon, so don't worry. If you're looking for more content and would like to support the channel, you can find extended versions of my tutorials on Patreon each week. Thank you so much for watching, and see you all next Saturday. Bye bye!